Good afternoon, it's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. Guys, I thought I'd just share a few ideas with you here in this video. You never know where it could lead to or how interested you might feel about some of the topics that we raise. Before we do, big thanks to those people that have been supporting us, and we've got an order for 3 of our silver colloidal generators. We've ordered the parts. They should be here by the end of the week, and Monday hopefully we'll have them built and posted out to you. There's another 5 of those, 4 of them that we've got available if anyone wants one. Do a little bit of research and you'll see why people are interested in taking colloidal silver at this moment, especially with all what's going on with COVID-19. And on that note, you know what it's like when you do a little search on YouTube and you find something else that gets your attention, not that thing that you were looking for, but it's definitely caught your interest. So amongst other things, I don't know why, I managed to watch a 30-minute video on old-fashioned methods of building shingle roofs, which are like little planks of wood, but I found it entertaining, so it caught my attention and managed to do so for at least 30 minutes. But another thing that caught my attention was this story. This guy here is a pioneer in the field of HIV, AIDS, and he won the Nobel Prize in, I believe, 2007 or 2008 for his work. He's no longer connected, as far as I'm aware, to any specific research at this moment, and that's one of the reasons why he says he doesn't mind coming out and telling people what his findings are with relationship to the COVID-19. Now, he's an expert. He's been recognised for his work in this line of field of biogenetics, and to cut it short, what he's done is he's found in the coronavirus sequencing, he's found a sequence that is related to HIV, and what he's saying is it's no mistake that this sequence is in the coronavirus, and he's also stated that this is been made and not naturally created, and is underpinning this on the computers that we've got now, computers that that go through the sequences of particular viruses and strains and things like that identify these sequences. And he says anyone in this field can use these sequencing computers and come to the same conclusions I have. He's not the only one, and he's not the only guy that has won a Nobel Prize in this field that has now came out, because there's another one as well in I believe Tokyo. So we're getting these experts come out now and saying this is not come from, like they're saying, a bat. This has been created in a laboratory. You need to have specific skills and abide by specific rules in building these things, and what he's saying is that this should not be in the ammonia strain or coronavirus strain, and for that reason it's been created. So this has been leaked out of a facility, either on purpose or by mistake, probably that one in Wuhan, China, and as a result has now been responsible for killing 300,000 people worldwide. And yes, there are some discrepancies in the numbers, because we know that in the UK, in the United States, and in some parts of Europe, there have been people that just simply had COVID-19 but died of liver failure or a heart attack, but they have been written down on the death certificate that they've died of coronavirus. So there probably is more people that have died of coronavirus as a result of the way the autopsies or whatever have been handled, and the death certificates have been issued of cause of death. But I just find it interesting. Another thing that this expert in his field has came out and said is that it wasn't the only one, that there's been many of people that have come to the same conclusion as him with regards to coronavirus, and in particular he draws reference to an Indian researcher who published it in the paper, and then the paper retracted it, and he said they tried to cover it up. So it's very interesting where we are right now with coronavirus. At the moment, I've said this all along, I think that somebody's going to make a lot of money out of this. one way or another. You know, if stock markets are plummeting at the same time people are making money, and yet our governments have continued to pump money into the stock markets to keep the global economy afloat. You know, has it become right now a case of health is less important than the economy? Because certainly when they locked us down originally, and there was less numbers of confirmed cases when they locked us down, it seemed that health was more important than the economy. But I think what's happened is the government's realised around the world is that they cannot continue with the furloughed scheme, because it is literally costing billions of pounds to them, and without no indication that this is going to be, you know, a closed case in a few months' time. You know, there are people that are saying that this is going into, you know, 2023, 2024. You know, we've got to put up with coronavirus now for a long time, and as a result of that, you know, we are initially going to see more people die of it than what we have already. But I had an interesting conversation with a friend in Holland, Elise. You know, I don't know how we managed to get on this topic, but we was talking about the people in our history and more recent people that have been able to predict in some circumstances what's going to happen in the future. Now, let's say, for instance, Nostradamus was famous for making some predictions, but he didn't predict that coronavirus would be here in 2020. Another one to mention was Edgar Cayce, was it? He never mentioned coronavirus. And another one recently who's still around is Major Ed Dames, and he had his remote viewers that were able to, you know, accurately predict things, but for some reason they didn't predict the coronavirus. So, you know, part of the conversation I was having with Elise was maybe, you know, when we was studying time travel theories back in the 1950s, and we put them two atomic clocks together. I think you know where I'm going with this. But they put the two atomic clocks together, calibrated them, stuck one on an aircraft. It travelled for several hours at around about 500-600 miles an hour. When it came back on the tarmac, the atomic clock was taken out of the aircraft, put next to the other one, and it found that it was reading a slightly different amount of time, indicating that time, with regards to speed, has an influence on each other, or should I say speed has an influence on time. Apparently the theory is that the faster you go, or the closer you get to the speed of light, time eventually will stop at that point. So my question is that none of these saw it, and was it because there was an interference in time travel? If we proved in the 1950s that time travel was possible, do you think we just left it there? Or do you think more millions of research money after that point was invested into it because they realised how important time travel, or, you know, manipulation of time could be in future scenarios? Like, you could keep revisiting a particular time. If you were at war with a country and you'd lost it several times, or maybe if you go back enough times, you could probably find out, you know, what would be the secret to putting your resources in specific areas where you could win that war. So, you know, for that reason, you know, there would be money probably set aside available for the furthering of the research in time travel. And maybe that is why none of these people saw it when they wrote it down. But then I don't know how time works. Maybe, you know, time works like this. If it happens, then it changes the past from that point on, regardless if you've got a time machine. So, you know, I'd like your views on this. In any case, it got into an interesting conversation in just the fact that none of these great people, like, you know, the Fatima sisters, never mentioned COVID-19. Nostradamus never mentioned it. Dames never mentioned it. Edgar Fouché or Edgar Cayce never mentioned it, you know. Yet, like we all know, when he died, Edgar Cayce, the FBI went into his house and removed all the documents there, similar in manner to what they did with Nikola Tesla. It seems to be that when people are close to something, that, you know, they are watched throughout their lives, and at some point, you know, when they do pass away, all their research documents gets classified and confiscated by these people. It is interesting. But what I thought was interesting is that here we have 3 people now that have came out who are well renowned in their subject. Yeah, we haven't seen the ones that the government have been telling us that they've been relying on with regards to the scientific expertise, but who are the people that they are relying on? Because certainly these are Nobel Peace Prize winners in their field, and they're saying it's been created purposely. This is a man-built virus. So, there's a lot of questions to ask. And then, if it was released on purpose, what was the purpose of doing it? There's a lot of questions that can arise from it. So, I'll just put that out there, guys, for you, to get some thoughts. It's a bit of a change from what we usually do, and that's because, it's only on the 17th this month, we went through the TriMag data, the magnetosphere data. We had some data from Perth, Australia, and only a few days before that we had the Hong Kong data. So we've been very busy at the observatory, and we're doing a lot of work at the moment on the cloud chamber, 3D printing various components, which I'll probably show you in a video tomorrow if you're interested in seeing the progression on that, as well as a few other things. So yeah, give me your thoughts on this matter. We have now got experts that have been given Nobel Peace Prizes that are coming out of this. I don't think this is no longer a place in time where we can say that this is speculation. I think that this is facts. These are the experts that are coming out. So we know for sure that COVID-19 didn't arrive from a bat and then passed to humans and then mutated into the coronavirus. This has come out of a laboratory. Even Donald Trump has said that this has got, the laboratory in Wuhan, is it, in China, stamped all over it, and we've got evidence to it. We've now got Nobel Peace Prize coming out, winners that are coming out and saying the same thing. So where do we go from here on this matter? There's been a massive letdown, if that is the case, by China, by the World Health Organization. And for me, I absolutely agree with Donald Trump. China put 50 million into the World Health Organization, whereas America put something like 450 million. They should get a little bit of priority, or be put in a position to at least be informed of what's going on. And according to what we see, the World Health Organization knew what was going on in China, yet failed to alert the rest of the world as a result of that. So I think they should lose the funding. They failed in their entirety of what they set out to do, and that was to inform the world on health issues. And viruses do come into that, and pandemics do come into that, and therefore they have let the world down, as well as China have, in my view. They have failed to notify the world that they had a serious problem on their hands, that if they had have said something, I'm sure the rest of the world would have come in and helped contain this to just China. But no, China allowed it to travel past its borders, didn't stop people travelling on aircraft, knowing full well what was going on. And now we are here where we are, and we've got this for at least another few more years. And like I say, as a result, more people are going to die. So yeah, I'm interested in your thoughts on that. I'll leave it with that, and I'll just mention that there's a link down there if you want to help support what we do at the observatory. We cover CO2, atmospheric oxygen, muons, cosmic radiation, inbound on the Earth as a result of the low magnetism, or the low magnetic protection that we've got with the magnetosphere. We also track the magnetic north poles, and obviously keep you informed with what's going on with the grand solar minimum and a lot of other things as well. We do have a entire website full of stuff like this, guys. It's dedicated to all these anomalies: sea ice content, precipitation globally. We've got weather maps, live satellite photos. We've got live data coming in from NASA with regards to solar activity, Schumann frequencies, other cosmic radiation detection laboratories, and a lot of other stuff, guys. Just got to go over to Pole Shift News and have a look at it. So I'll say what I usually do. You have a great day. Look after your loved ones. We'll be back. And we'll see you then. As always, bye for now.